or something again. Just thought I'd throw that out, but I'm ready.
All right, please help me welcome Carol Prahinski with words of wisdom from a planner. Carol Prahinski.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Have you wondered, if I knew I couldn't fail, what would I do? If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do? I was walking down the street. There's a man getting ready to pass me, and on his t-shirt read those words. I thought about it, and then I said, well, it certainly wouldn't be this. And I'm not referring to walking down the street. I was talking about my profession. I was in a wrong job. I was in a job that I did not enjoy. I was in a job that I thought I was supposed to enjoy because my mother told me so. Yeah, so these things happen. And all of a sudden we're in a place and we said, how did I get here? How did I get here? And on this particular day, as I watched that man pass me with that t-shirt on, I said, if I don't like where I'm at and I knew I couldn't fail, I've got to make some changes. So I'm going to step back for a second and talk about where I was. I was a 31-year-old working in a professional job, wearing nice suits, out in the middle of a field that produced cranberries. And in my company, there's a corporate environment, I was responsible for planning. It was a job that I had worked hard to get, and I love to plan. So this was like a good place for me. I had majored in operations management or supply chain management, and part of that is planning. So I thought I was in the right place. But I was going nowhere. I tried up, I tried over, nothing. I said, this is crazy. And my mother said, but you love your job. No, I don't. Mom, I love you. I don't like this job. After some reflection, I said, what am I going to do about it? Because I had a hard time going up against my mom's desires. She was a very strong woman, similar to me in some ways. And she had this idea that she wanted her daughters to be professional, independent, professional woman. And that was important to her. And so all of my life, she has been raising me to get to this point, working at a corporate environment and being successful. In her mind, I had achieved the pinnacle. And now I just had to put in my time to get the promotions that, of course, would come my way at some point. And I said, I don't think it's going to happen. At that point, I really struggled because I was thinking, why am I doing this? I'm doing it to satisfy my mom, but that's not what I'm about. I need to be about helping me be successful. Since I had majored in supply chain management, I was at a place where I love this profession. I think the profession is right, but the job isn't. And so after reaching some very dark moments in my life, as I contemplated, what am I going to do? I decided to write my obituary. And so for those of you who read the introduction or read aspects of the promotional material for tonight's meeting, it said I was going to give you 3 things to do to not wait. The first one is write your obituary. Figure out the content of that obituary and decide, do I like what it says or no, I don't. And then figure out, well, okay, if I don't like what it says, and I hated my obituary at the time I was 31, I decided to rewrite it. What would it say instead? That was a hard challenge because I didn't know what to do. Which direction should I go? I knew I wanted some time off. I knew I wanted to, I'm going to call it play, try some other things that I hadn't tried before. So if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do? I decided to quit my full-time job, and my mother went, oh no. Why? Because she was sure I was going to end up homeless and unemployed and hanging out with a drunkard, of course. No, Mom, I'll be okay. Yeah, she didn't think so. And for a whole year, she was stressed. And for that whole year, I played. I bicycled across the United States. I read lots of books that I'd been wanting to read for many years. I did Outward Bound in Ely, Minnesota, negative 32 degrees, and camped outside because I wanted to try it. After all of this, I said, I'm ready to apply for a PhD program. Off I went, finished the PhD program, and my mother is a much happier place with an academic. I'm so proud of you. Yes, but she had to go through a very difficult time to get to that point. Item number 2, don't wait, just do it. If I had hemmed and hawed for another 6 months to a year, nothing happens except for me getting bitter. It's important not to wait. But suppose you're like my sister who says, I don't know what to do. The world is my oyster and I want to do something different, but I don't know what to do. Years later, she says the same thing. The world is my oyster, but I don't know what to do. Go, do it. Love you, sis. The third thing is understand what's holding you back. For me, it required a conversation with my mother. And for me to understand where she was coming from. She had been looking across the street at her neighbor who was married and trapped with 4 kids and a drunkard for a husband and no ability to become independent and self-sufficient. That was my mother's biggest fear for me and my sister. No, I don't want that for my daughters. I will make sure that they are capable of being in a profession that will make some good money and be successful on their own. So these 3 things, writing your obituary, just do it, and understanding the motives of those who love you and where they're coming from, so that you can make a conscious decision to try and step out and not be afraid of failure. If you knew you couldn't fail, would you be doing what you're doing now? Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much,